it's a super good questions. What I know from experience, there is SEPA initiative for the years already, but it's not live in its full capacity. For example, that's one of good cross-border initiatives which is not live. Why it's not live in full capacity, I will not comment. But there are some good ideas which should be turned into reality, because it's not in favor of some other market players, I would say. So I see this as only personally as a limitations. Otherwise, no. We don't have more time. Sorry, we need to go further. National Bank.
How the banks are adopting it, like by regulation?
As I said, it was forced for all participants in the banking system. And it showed as a good decision. If you ask banks from Serbia, they would say probably no, but if you ask from the customer perspective, yeah. Yes.
There are fixed charges for it, or
I think that they are regulated, but banks are not losing money on that transactions. I can say that. We need to go further. So now, thank you very much for the attention and for the questions. It's interesting topic, yeah. So I would like to announce Philip Ledru, if he is here. He was here, yeah. Philip, please get on the stage. What I can say on Philip? Philip held the sales management position in the finance and mobile market. He has headed the payment and financial service strategic marketing at IDEMIA. Did I say it well? IDEMIA.
Very well.
Yeah, and now you are heading the sales of digital products and solution in Europe. So please welcome, and stage is yours.
Thank you for the nice introduction.
Okay.
Yeah, working? No? Yes? Yes. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's a detail. So I've been asked to talk about payment and card innovation, which is a broad topic, obviously. You have to switch the presentation. So, as you know, IDEMIA, or as you may know, IDEMIA is a vendor of both card and different technology for government, banks, and mobile operators. You're a very educated audience, so I try to say something clever. I give you what we see on the market and the main trend that we have been seeing, both on the digital and the physical payment, because as a supplier of about 1 billion cards per year, we have a fairly good idea of what is going on the card market, especially. I will start to talk without the picture. It wasn't so big. Here we go. So basically what we have seen, and obviously everybody saw it, is that the COVID has been changing the habit of the users, both on the digital and the physical way. People now are used to the tap and pay, which allowed a huge increase of usage of wallets such as Apple Pay or Google Pay, which was not so big before because the people were not used to this NFC payment. And same thing also on the digital acceptance. People during the COVID have been paying more and more online, or being used to pay online, and because now they pay more online, they are more demanding on the way they are going to check out. It's a bit like when you take the plane once a year with your kids for holidays. You don't care about waiting 2 hours at the custom and another 2 hours at the security and coming 4 hours in advance to the airport. If you fly every week, it matters, and you would like to go in the plane in 30 minutes end to end. Checkout payment is about the thing. So the more you buy online, the more you're demanding on the checkout experience. It doesn't mean that you're not going to pay. You're not going to go online if the checkout experience is bad, but you will choose the site which is giving you the best experience because it has to be fast and you don't want to wait anymore. The other thing that we have been talking about it all the morning is the banks are being challenged by about everybody. And on every pillar of the activity, you have one fintech, one digital challenger coming in, and that it requires a bank to change the way they've been playing for the last 200 years, where they were about alone on their market and just competing between each other. Now they have new competitors, more agile, more digital native, sometimes cheaper. So they have to adapt and maybe change the way they are working so far to be kind of a tech company. Nobody can, a domestic bank cannot be a tech company to compete with a global player. It doesn't have the knowledge, it doesn't have the capacity, it doesn't have the fund. So the banks have to shift a bit. For what we see, that the bank tends to shift the way they work to more aggregate partners, put less technology on premises, less in-house, and delegate more and control more, but to specialized players. Last thing is, as we say, the new, because people are becoming demanding on the way they're going to check out. We see more and more checkout button. We see the Apple Pay button, which is gonna come now on every website with the Apple Cloud token. There is a secure remote commerce, which is being built by the MVCO members to compete against the Apple Pay button, the Google Pay button, the PayPal button, and so on. So there is kind of a war to provide an easy checkout. And obviously, let's say the whole world of MVCO tries to procure the same checkout capacity to the consumer without having one single button and so an end-to-end integration. It's a difficult work, but obviously there is a huge interest of being the winning button, and being the winning button is difficult. Visa tried, MasterCard tried. PayPal tried and succeeded, but halfway, because they are not everywhere. Apple is succeeding quite well on the mobile app. Now they try to extend to the web. We'll see how it works. But for sure, the position of the wallet is going to be very important. And that's something that we did not see before. Everything now, so you want to order a plane ticket, you need to have the plane ticket 2 minutes after in your mobile app. Same thing for the train ticket, same thing for everything you order. Nobody wants to wait, and obviously nobody wants to wait also when you onboard into a bank, when you want a new card, when you want a new service. And that's, again, something that is going to change a bank. There was one presentation this morning from NCR talking about the move from batch to real time. That's exactly what the bank are facing right now. The banks have been working roughly the same way for the last 40 years. And suddenly, the legacy system has to go to trash. Suddenly, we don't talk batch, we talk real time, we talk API, we talk ecosystem. And that is changing a lot. So that means that the bank needs to issue a card real time, needs to deploy this card real time into a wallet, needs to give the capacity to control this card or this token dynamically from the customer. It's a huge change into the IT system, and then we go back a bit to what we were saying before. The bank can hardly do that by themselves because they are bankers. They are not a fintech company or IT company. Okay, and obviously one of the issue of that is to make it as secure as possible. Hence, all the initiative for the digital ID and the capacity to, first of all, provide an ID, but also to control the ID. And the more fluid is the authentication of the customer, obviously the more fluid is the checkout and the service rendered. Once again, 5 years ago, we were doing in a 3 secure, receiving an SMS, typing the SMS, the OTP into the website. It was cumbersome, but when you do one online purchase per month, it's okay. When you do twice per week or 3 times per week, then it's an issue. And so, so the run from, let's say, the historical players who do not have their pay button and their authentication button to try to find a way to make it as easy as possible, still having this, let's say, open framework allowing all the banks to play on the same field. So it's a difficult play because obviously when you are on a pay button, it's easier. You know your customer, you have the pay button. It's easy to. It's difficult to deploy a pay button, but once you have it, it's still the best customer experience we can feel. Sustainability. So it's a good word. It's a nice word. Everybody loves it. On the payment button. I'm sorry. On the payment ecosystem, do we really see it? Yes, a bit. Especially with a card. Some banks tend to choose eco-friendly cards. So what is an eco-friendly card? It's not a card which is made out of corn. It's a card which is made out of recycled PVC. And that's up we can go to so far. And there's no other promise on the market. You will never see a card made in wood or in weed or whatever. Wheat, sorry, not weed. Social and financial inclusion also is a big trend in the industry. Also in Europe, and one of the first neobank, for instance, in France, one of the pitch was to say, we are the bank who are going to accept the person who are not accepted by the rest of the bank, because we don't have overdraft. So it was a bit of a fake advertisement, but at the end it worked. They have more than 3 million users in France. By saying, with us, you cannot pay overdraft fees, and we will accept you, because of course, we don't authorize overdraft. So it was kind of misleading, but at the end there was they had some impact in the French market. We also see some initiative or peer-to-peer to help the financial inclusion. Not much in Europe, but we see more and more out of Europe, and especially through messaging application, where you can integrate a messaging application like WhatsApp to do peer-to-peer, for instance. We have, the new generation. We always say it's a me, me, and me. So it's my pair of sneakers, my Instagram, my card, my design on my card. I want to be different. So people want things fast, but also more and more they want to have their own product, which which at the end is going to allow people to, and that's what we see, especially in the card market, people to put a picture, a dedicated picture on their card, have a dedicated metal card, be able to draw something on their card before the card is being issued. So that's something we see more and more, and as we will see a bit after, surprisingly, the traditional bank have not much invested on the card, which is a bit funny because at the end, the business, the huge business of the banks are the card business, mostly through the interchange and so on. But they still see as a cost. While IDEMIA is working, has made a dedicated program for fintech, and the fintech, when we entered in the fintech market, we thought that at the end the fintech they will go in Apple Pay and no cards. And because it's a new generation, the young people will go directly to Apple Pay and nobody will use the card anymore. And at the end, it is a complete opposite. The fintech are spending much more money than the traditional banks in the card, in the form factor. Much more. Because how they carry their brand. So they try to do sexy layout. They try to propose personalization to the customer. We have a bank rocker who is having a LED, so every time you pay, you have the logo of the bank, which is lightning when you pay on the point of sale. Whether it is necessary, I don't know. Whether it is going to make a good business for rocker, I don't know. What I know is that those people, they invest on the form factor much more than the traditional bank, and especially on a new trend, which is a metal card. So here it's very market oriented. Intuitively, basically, we thought that metal card was for Middle East and Russia, and it's not true. The biggest purchaser of metal card are fintech, who associate the metal card with a premium of service, of whatever. And that's something that was not foreseen, but the number of metal cards is increasing drastically, and mostly not in the traditional bank, but more in the fintech and neobanks. So next-gen payment, who knows who will be the next-gen? I don't. What is interesting is that everybody is thinking about many ways to pay, many ways to clear the payments, but everybody is hitting on the wall of how do I pay in a shop? And we are talking about different wallets, about QR code and so on, and we have been discussing with many wallets in Northern Europe, for instance, who have a QR code, who have potentially have a network, who have a nice technology. It is compatible with iPhone, it is compatible with Android, and you can have a QR code and it's fast, it is instant payment, it is cheap for the merchant and so on. But at the end, they come to us and say, how can you help us to take my wallet, put my card in Apple Pay and pay with my QR wallet, but in the point of sale? And everybody is hitting on the same thing. So CBDC is very nice, crypto very nice, QR code very nice, real-time payment very nice. But the nicest thing is still this, and I've paid. And a QR code, you have to go in your application, take the QR code. No, it's not better than NFC. If you have to put your ID and then receive a notification on your phone and then say, oh yeah, I'm okay to, no, it's not better than NFC. So that's where it's difficult to close the circle. So the global acceptance on NFC is a proprietary acceptance held by MasterCard, Amex, Visa, Discover, and so on. Okay, there is no white label acceptance at the point of sale available. Nobody has been thinking about that. To upgrade the acceptance in a country of a new technology to accept contactless payment for 5 years. And so every new technology will hit on this point of sale acceptance or access, not even after talking about there's the clearing and the routing of the transaction, but just the physical access to the point of sale is difficult. So there is a huge question on the capacity of the industry to enable a white label technology in the point of sale to allow a device to say, I am here and I want to do a transaction. And without this kind of white label that EMVCo is trying is promising in some years, there is no global acceptance at the point of sale, because every time you want to tap a card on a point of sale, you are entering in the IP of the one who are already in. And I think I have 1 minute left for question, if any.
Okay, just maybe one comment and question for you. What do you think how banks are actually balancing between their investment into card business or taking care about card business on B2C and B2B clients or markets? And parallel that, where is the potential of e-commerce more? In which of those segments? Or do they equally take care about all their solutions on issuing and acquiring side, on business B2B client segments and B2C client segments? Or do they balancing enough? Where is the niche for the expansion of payment card business in the future?
I wish I had the answer. I think the bank, as we said a bit this morning that we heard, have to smoother their card issuance and card distribution. And on the issuing, I would say they have a customer base. I think they have to give the right service to their customer, and that should work. Okay, and even if they have to invest to allow this real-time management of the card, of the tokens and everything, it's a big investment up front, but at the end, the customer will do himself what the bank is right now doing for the customer. So it should be cheaper in the running cost. For the acquiring, which is a business that I know a bit less, I think it's difficult because there is no, let's say, natural customer of the bank as acquirer, as a merchant. Merchant can snap the finger and move to one to another one. There are PSPs which are coming as payment processor. I'm not talking about the acquiring the account, but the payment processor. The competition is global. The competition is so exactly it's exactly the example I was taking before. You have a local actor, which is supposed to be, which is doing bank, issuing, acquiring, insurance, lending, mortgage. You know, we have a multiple of job, and is asked to be as good as a pure player, which is worth 40 billion euro on the stock market, and that's difficult. And frankly, I don't have so I'm not exactly answering your question, but so other balance is being done. I think the banks have it's difficult, and we saw in France big acquirer, like the biggest acquirer, making a deal with a fintech, pure player PSP, to make a global agreement in Europe to work together, because even if it's the biggest French acquirer, they don't have the capacity, they don't have the technology to go to Carrefour and say, I take all your acquiring, both web and in shop, I change all your point of sale, and you click on a button and you have all the dashboard, you think the IA you want. A bank cannot be a better technology provider than a pure player technology provider. And that's what I was saying at the beginning. The bank, I guess, needs to shift, not to say it's my technology, it's my ownership, it's my thing, but trying to exactly know what is his business and what he can outsource, at least in terms of technology. One simple, I had one example before. In Europe, you have it's an equator of the sourcing policies. Northern Europe, people take one supplier of cards. I'm a card vendor, so I know by card. One supplier of cards. They say everything they want to keep one single supplier, and they take you as their supplier, a partner, and they work with you for the next 10 years. Okay. If you're bad, you're out, and you lose 100% of the market share. The southern equator, so the northern is Protestant, the southern is Catholic. So you have all the northern countries, and you have Switzerland, which is in the north, which is geographically not in the north, and you have the rest. And you go in a Spanish bank, in a French bank, in an Italian bank, say, oh, okay, I want to be your sole supplier. Not possible. Why? Not possible. Why? Because we need a backup. Okay, I have 10 factories in the world. We need a backup for the Brussels bureau. We have 45 Brussels bureau in the world. We need a backup for the chips. Okay, we work with 5 chip vendors. Why do you take resources to work with 3 vendors rather than 1? What do you gain? Do you think that you have to put your brain somewhere else? Not possible. So I think typically for this, it's a kind of a stupid example, but the fact that the bank are spending time and resources to manage 3 different card vendors in one single country, I think they have not understood the challenge they have to meet. And they spend too much money on this single thing to manage a legacy system, because between my card and the card of my competitor, it's the same. Huh? It's paid the same way. And that shows, I think, that the bank have not understood what they are going to face.
Thank you, Philip. We need to continue with panel discussion. One applause, please, for the lead.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I would like also to announce several very interesting guys. So first of them, it's Mate Tilk. So if you ask me, he's coming with a IT and electrical engineer background, and he likes payments. So this is the perfect match. He's working in the MOL, how you call it? It's MOL Group Digital Factory. So it's so exotic, and I like it already. So please welcome. Next one, participants here. It's just a second. We have the Christian Chenger. Christian, I'm sorry if the surname it's not correct, or it's super. So Christian is coming from Erste Bank Group. Please welcome. And he also have very exotic background, because when I see the cross-border, the payment, I already get excited. So he's working in a Erste Bank Group, steering the payment operations since 2013. But what is interesting here, I would like association that provides a global forum to derive better market practice and correct use of payment standards. So for me, it's music for my ears. So thank you. And the third one, it's Giuseppe. So please, Giuseppe Castelbuono. He was already on the first stage, but he's Chief Digital Information Officer, UniCredit Bank, working for several markets at Eastern Europe. So please, Philippe, take over. The stage is yours, guys. Yeah, thanks.
So thank you very much, gentlemen. So I was a bit briefly showing it before. What we see that once again you have native digital global players coming on the field of I would say non-native digital players which are domestic. And I think the overall of this panel will be to see how can local players and historical local players can play to fight against this new competition coming mostly from the US, but not only. But who have the reach, the scale, and the money to accelerate their IT and the digital transformation. So the first question I will ask to every of those gentlemen is, everybody is talking about the digital ecosystem, but what is your digital ecosystem? How do you play? Or in which digital ecosystem are you playing?
Okay. First of all, welcome everybody. Our digital ecosystem is, firstly, you have to understand that I'm coming from an oil and energy company, working in mainly within that for the retail, for the fuel retailing, and our digital ecosystem is mainly built on the fuel retailing loyalty itself. And we want to turn each and every point of sale into a kind of point of interaction. So this means that for us, a payment terminal is much more than a simple card acceptor machine or device. That we want to interact. We want to want to have the connection with our customers. So we have several channels. We have the point of sale. We have the mobile as the first channel for us for the loyalty customers, and we have outdoor payment terminals as another channel. We have the website for the loyalty, and we have the email and SMS. These are the, let's say, the digital channel for us. As I'm coming from a really IT-heavy background, we are building this whole IT stack in a connected manner. And also, what is interesting challenge for us is that we are operating in 9 countries. We have built this network with more than 2,200 service stations in the CEE region. In a way that we bought a network, then we didn't standardize it, we bought another one and we didn't standardize it. So the challenge for us is to bring from central solution providers and central solutions to those local, very different systems, very different business processes, the same customer experience, which is driven by the group loyalty and payment strategies. So that's the big, let's say, digital ecosystem we are working on, and we want to have a connected solution. For example, we have also a car sharing service in Budapest. This is part of our mobility service, and we have connected the loyalty with the car sharing service. So, for example, you earn points and you get discounts at the fueling station just because you used our car sharing. So all of these connections, omni-channel journeys needs to be present, and payment is one of the enablers of these because of the payment terminals and devices.
Thank you. Christian?
Thanks a lot. Before trying to answer to the question, just a short intro. You know, it's this joke with the MS team, and everybody is using. Sorry, my microphone it's off. Usually on the panels, the people are trying to say, yes, I agree with you. I'm just adding. Basically, today I will try to disagree with all of you, yeah? So at least to keep a little bit entertainment that we can have a productive discussion. And I will start already now, digital ecosystem. Yeah, this was one of the first terms which I heard when I went into the payment system, in the payment environment, let's put it in this way. And it was like bingo. In every meeting, everybody was using ecosystem, ecosystem, ecosystem. This and the landscape. These 2 words, you can find them in any single discussion, but everybody understood totally different things. Yeah. For me, payments is simple. There is a payer and a payee. Yeah. And this is the main actors of the ecosystem. Other actors, like the banks, like the rails, the schemas, the regulators, are only there to support for fun. Yeah. And I hope 10 years ago that all these actors will disappear, and there will be possibility to have the digital, let's say, put it in this way, transfer of the money between the payer and payee directly without intermediation of any other part. Well, not happened yet. Yeah, we hope that will happen in the next period of time. For me, payment ecosystem is the same like 10 years ago, just we added the word digital. Of course, now it's more automated, we have multi-channel and so on, but nothing very differently, let's put it in this way. Yeah? And as I said, I hope that in the near future we will change it. And we will have, I think, several discussions tomorrow regarding the digital currency and so on. So maybe we can add up something like that.
Giuseppe.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. I do agree that the definition is quite difficult. So this is the point where we indeed agree. What I would consider as definition of the ecosystem are mostly the touch point. Okay, payer and payee are definitely right consideration to bring on the table, but the touch point I would add as important step, because this is the trigger between, let's say, digital payments and payments that can be processed in the old way. So the touch point can be the differentiating factors, and all the rest is part of the infrastructure. So the fact that we have engines on the back end, that we have the schemes, that we have all the organization behind the settlement, it's basically part of the infrastructure. I would consider not a differentiating factor. It's something that we need to have, like in transportation, so we need to have roads independently of which car we are going to use. So this is definitely a fact. But the touch point might be the way how we create innovation and how we build the really digital payments. So this, for me, would be the differentiating factors.
In any of your different area of business, did the digital brought new competitor on your field of activity, or basically it stays the same, it's just the existing competitor which are becoming more digital maybe, and then you have to cope with this new technology?
I will start saying that definitely new competition is coming from different opportunities. Before, the colleagues mentioned about Apple Pay or Google Pay, the wallets. So definitely, this is, if not competition, is for sure part of the profit of the bank that is disappearing, because obviously the customer could not afford to pay for those costs, and somehow banks are reducing their profit, or they have to cope with different stakeholders in the chain that will be part of the game. So definitely, yes, there is competition. There are new fintech that are proposing peer-to-peer payments. So we saw also some example before. So definitely there is competition. The key of the success for each bank, or in general for each institution, is try to leverage on those entities, on those infrastructure, on those assets, in order to build additional value for the customer. So the answer is yes, there is competition, but there are also opportunities. So the right management should balance competition and opportunities.
Shall I continue, or another question? Well, definitely the digitalization brought different challenges for the banks. Yeah, I'm working for the bank, so I'm assuming from this side. The digitalization allows the small companies to enter new markets very simple, even cross-border. They're becoming micro multinational companies. On the other side, the cost of distribution and the cost of advertising decreased very much. And it was mentioned the cloud computing, for example, that you can scale up very fast. So you do not have to invest. So the small companies can achieve the same results or similar results with a very low level of investment. And this brings another competition for the banks. We are a big elephant, we recognize. But as you mentioned in your speech earlier, we as a bank, we build up our business model over the years. Yeah? It's not built up something in 1-2 years, it's over the last 10, 20 years. And we are treated by the regulators with different requirements. Yeah? So whenever, I think you mentioned the instant payments in Serbia that was mandatory by the National Bank. We are also, as a bank, mandatory, for example, to implement instant payments now. Yeah? Which is not mandatory for the fintechs. Yeah? They do not have to apply it. I cannot assess that it's profitable for the company, for the bank, because you have to invest a lot of money in the infrastructure in order to have a new rail and so on and so on. Yeah? Which then the fintechs can come and with open banking can access this infrastructure which we invested as a bank. Yeah? So definitely, to conclude it, the digitalization brings a lot of opportunities for the small companies or the startups, let's put it in this way. For the banks, they did not create such a big problem so far, but we still expect it. Like just looking to some statistics, we noticed that in the last 5 years, our volume of the payments increased, so did not decrease, even if many companies appeared on the market. So let's see how the future will bring us, yeah? But definitely new challenges will come.
Well, for us, it's the other way around, that because it's not that easy to start a fuel an oil and energy company just because you have digital assets. It's the other way around, that we are stepping into areas, new business, starting new business lines with the digital capabilities we have built internally, where we have never ever before. So I just mentioned this car sharing capability and then we have a new EV charger network within the MOL group, fuel stations, and also we are building further capabilities. I'm just telling another example, which is really kind of purely digital. We are sitting on lots of valuable data, sales data on our group network, and we have started to understand how we can utilize it and how we can actually make further money of it. So we started to cooperation, for example, with Red Bull in Hungary, but we will start to sell our sales data. They get insights into the data warehouse, into the BI solution, that they get information on certain products, on certain product categories, which is valuable for them based on the sales. This is one example that how we step into areas where we have never ever before. Another one is that I believe that each and every company, even if it was not an IT company, they have to become an IT company, because you cannot rely on service providers, on others who will resolve your own challenges. You have to build your own capabilities, so we are constantly building it internally. Now we are working with a service provider. Who knows, 2 or 3 years later, we will do our own. So it's more for us. It's more a possibility, not a competition.
Okay, so you have answered now question number 2 and almost number 3 at the same time. So the question number 3 was, how did you company had to evolve in terms of resources, IT knowledge, and maybe give us one example of what has been your one of the achievement of what and the initiative you take to take this digital turn.
I will start again with a new short history from a bank. When I joined the payment business, I had a colleague who was close to retirement, yeah, and I was burned out from the previous job. And he told me, Christy, this is the best place to work in a bank, because nothing happened in the last 20 years, and nothing will happen in the next 10 years. I was happy. Just a couple of months later, SEPA came into then SEPA, instant payment, GPI, and then on top of it come the agile. Business owner, product owner, scrum master, scrum here, scrum there, and so on, everything is agile now. And then on top, digitalization. And also in all these meetings, we have colleagues who are talking about digitalization, and then it's coming something out of, no, it's called digital transformation. Yeah. So to go to the question, the first, in my opinion, the first change which at least in the bank has to do is to balance the knowledge inside, yeah? To balance what exactly means digitization, yeah? For example, it's just, you have to, for this one, you need good business analysts, for example, and some basic IT guys. For the digitalization, which is a kind of fancy word, let's put it in the say for the automation and just adding some omnichannels and so on, you need a different competencies, and basically you just speed up and improve the process, but you do not change the process. And then on top of them is coming digital transformation, which you really try to bring a totally new way of doing your business. And this is exactly that. I saw projects, even if in our company, when they were trying to do digital transformation projects using as a source data stored on paper. It's impossible, yeah? So this would be the first change which have to be done in every things in the banks, is that you bring the knowledge on the same level. I think the IT knowledge is really, really good. We have really, really good colleagues, and I know this young generation, we are old already, I think all of us. We cannot catch up, but we have really young colleagues who are really fast in speed, have speed in catching up with the new technology. So this, I do not see a problem here. Yeah. That knowledge is the best example.
Many of the items have been already mentioned. I would add, also looking at my experience in implementing instant payment both in Serbia and Hungary, the delivery model changed, meaning that now the banks, or we provide services that are even more and more 24/7 available. So this is bringing some changes in the organization. So I should have created a team which will be up and running, or able to answer a question, or to react to incidents and problems 24/7. This in the previous way of processing instant payments without the availability of 24/7 was not there, because we had the cut-off time, we had the standard way of working. So this is definitely a change. And I would add also on performance, because we saw the 1.1 second in Serbia as average transaction rate. So I was part probably of this statistic when we implemented UniCredit in Serbia. So it is a challenge also, no? Because obviously you have now the customer in front of you who is waiting the famous confirmation that the payment was processed. So therefore, I saw those kind of challenges on top to the technology, what the colleagues mentioned, delivery model, so how we serve our clients, and also high attention towards performance, which was not this in the case in the past.
For us, digital transformation started 2017, 2018. At the time, we set our digital strategy, and then we found that it's not about technology, it's not about processes, it's not about not just about the things the gentleman mentioned, but it's more about the business ownership, the business itself, how the business can be involved into this, and about people, about talents. And at that time, then we decided that we will create the so-called digital factory, where we have actually put together the business experts, the business leaders, the IT experts, IT leaders in the same team. We defined same KPIs for them to work against. There was only one, let's say, success criteria that the business goals are achieved. And we have started to gather as much talents as much as possible within the region, within the country, and then now we are expanding all of these, because you just cannot find, let's say, with the proper system or industry or specialized knowledge, the necessary amount of people in one country. In the CEE region, it's really hard, because those real experts already went to Germany or to England or to other countries. It's really hard to put together the proper team, and then after that the full organization is set up. Let's say it's a kind of open heart surgery, because you have to deliver, still put together the team, and still operate it, and then doing the surgery in real time. So it's a totally different mindset, and this can be a bit tiring as well.
Okay, thank you. Not working anymore. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Any question from the audience?
If not, let's address ourselves the question.
Anything you would like to add? Yeah.
To avoid this awkward situation, let's put it in this way. I think one of the questions is always, how do we see the future? How do we see what will come? And a similar question was addressed by the colleague from Raiffeisen Romania. In my opinion, in payments, the future is related to crypto, and this is what you also mentioned here. And I'm not talking about here the cryptocurrencies as such, because for me, as a payment has zero value, the cryptocurrencies, but rather in the technology behind. And also, if we will be able, or somebody will be able to create some kind of regulated network with everybody from that different business area can connect with and have a fair and equal entry to everybody. This could be the solution for a kind of not fully decentralized, because does not exist something like this, but kind of decentralized model when the payments can really move fast from one place to another place without many or much friction related. So this is how I see the future in the payments ecosystem. Let's put it in this way.
I would add also another point of view, which is always not considered as a benefit of having payments processing in banks, that we as a bank, we are not usually taking all the advantages of our data. So to work with payments, you have a lot of data of customer, of their habits, of their spending, and I see that this is for sure will be a must in the future, how to leverage on the data in order to provide customizable services for the customers. So this I would also consider as a big part of investments in the next 2-3 years. I don't see this very long in the future, but in medium short term, actually.
But for this we have to change the guys from this GDPR, because I don't know who is responsible for that, but it's killing us, these GDPR questions and so on. One more, because we mentioned here the instant payments and what the future will bring us. And I was mentioning this reliability network. Maybe we shall not look for targeted answers to a certain questions. For example, when we implemented instant payments, the unique objective of the instant payment was the payment is reaches from A to B in 10 seconds, or I think this was the original from the European Payment Council when it was in 10 seconds. It's 1 seconds or 2 seconds in Serbia. But actually, if you ask any kind of consumer, what is the benefit of instant payments? They will tell you, like you said, Giuseppe, they get the confirmation that the payment was executed, and nobody put this as an objective. So whenever we look to the future, we don't have to stick to the very obvious use cases or very obvious results. Maybe we shall have a look. Again, it's very out of the box. How shall I put this kind of, yeah. So this should be also a little bit a kind of approach when also we do this digital transformation. We just don't have to look. We have to digitalize this process to be, at the end of the year, somebody's checking off, yes, you realized your digitalization.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Giuseppe, can I just add one good example? You mentioned sitting on the data and not using it. I have the bank account in one Serbia bank, and I have some deposit, not big, but thanks God, yeah, there is. And then I getting pre-authorized offer for overdraft. You know, they offer me short-term loan, 10,000 euro, 5,000 euro, every 6 months. And they don't know that I'm thinking about mortgage loan. So if they just offer me the mortgage loan, because on my Google, they probably can see that I'm searching from time to time some real estate. So this is, they are not utilizing on the data.
No, exactly.
I'm their customer, so you know they should. They offer me something I have, and I want something else, and they.
This is even worse. No? When you receive something that you don't need, it's bothering. And it happened to me, not with the bank, luckily, but with basically a job offer for a company when I was working. So also this was also not nice example, but still, in some cases there is disconnection in the organization who is using the data, who is owning the data, and who is managing the processes. So I should admit that there are complexity in big banks or big organizations, and the ownership and accountability of processes is also important from this point of view.
But the topic of your panel was perfect from the perspective of ownership, company ownership, bank owner, because it said with existing resources that you make innovation. So it was super nice. So you're not spending anymore, but you will create something new.
Indeed.
Which can be fairy tale, yeah, sometimes.
I can only agree with you this time.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Now I think we have the pause, so you can help yourself with the coffee. See you at just to see what time. 15:40. 45. 15:45. See you. Thank you.
Companies that offer disjointed experiences are quickly falling behind. That's why we built the FICO platform. It allows you to create amazing customer experiences with outsized business results. The FICO platform is a complete solution that enables you to easily connect your data while applying the latest AI, machine learning, In recent years, amazing customer experiences have become the new standard. It's what we all expect as consumers, to be understood and treated as individuals. But no matter how great these interactions become, there's always room to improve, to make them more consistent, more seamless, more personalized. For instance, when you deliver a great new marketing offer, it was likely built with different data, using different tools than other operations like risk management, financial crime protection, or even your supply chain. As a result, when customers move throughout the customer lifecycle from one touch point to another, each interaction is not as valuable or even as enjoyable as it could be. This is a growing problem for companies in every industry because personalization is king, and companies that offer disjointed experiences are quickly falling behind. That's why we built the FICO platform. It allows you to create amazing customer experiences with outsized business results. The FICO platform is a complete solution that enables you to easily connect your data while applying the latest AI, machine learning, and analytics to uncover insights which you can then put into action across your organization. In most companies, their IT structure looks like this, with each system built on its own island. With FICO, we bring your data, analytics, and application development together on an open, unified AI decisioning platform. This makes building new applications a breeze, because now you don't have to start from scratch. All you have to do is define the functionality you're looking for. And by empowering business stakeholders to collaborate with data scientists and application developers, you can work together to simulate, test, optimize, and deploy highly effective decision strategies. And you can do it fast. With the FICO platform, all your applications will operate from the same 360-degree view of the customer. So the important decision assets, like data characteristics and predictive models that are created by one department, will become available to the others, creating a centralized, responsibly governed system of action that creates better experiences for every one of your customers at scale. It's time to realize the power of a unified platform for digital decisioning. The FICO platform. Get started today.
Banks and credit unions have a problem. Their outdated technology can't keep up. Not with the engaging experiences of big tech and challenger banks, or the speed of new fintech services. And especially not with growing customer expectations. So financial institutions can either lose their customers to better digital players, or they can upgrade. And that's where we come in. The Backbase Engagement Banking Platform is the evolution of the digital banking experience. With the power of one platform, you can start small, then grow big across all channels and business lines. You can increase conversions during onboarding and product applications, deepen customer loyalty and engagement, partner with the finest fintechs, and above all, improve life for customers and also employees. With turnkey apps plus accelerators to build your own, the platform can be tailored to the unique needs of any sized bank or credit union, like the hundreds around the world that we're powering today. This only scratches the surface of what Backbase can do for you. To learn more or speak to us, visit backbase.com.
Ones, zeros. An entire world made up of ones and zeros. A digital world, complicated and dangerous. Anywhere we find ourselves, anywhere we're heading, unlimited possibilities in the palm of our hand. One touch and we can pay everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Control our money and our accounts without having to go to the bank. Comfortably, 24 hours a day. We can finally work from anywhere, safely, easily, even from there, or from there. Nothing stands in our way. We can prove our identity 100% whenever necessary. The digital world is astonishing. We are here to fully exploit all of its benefits, Monet Plus, and applied cryptography. We change ones and zeros into unique services and zero risks. We are Monet Plus. For a quarter century, we have been helping people use their digital identity and their money comfortably and safely. Anywhere, anytime. Monet Plus. Digitally, anywhere.
It's a real-time world, in the workplace and in our personal lives. We expect speed and simplicity in everything we do. Payments are no exception. At ACI Worldwide, we're providing mission-critical, real-time payment software to corporations around the globe. Whether it's two friends splitting a bill over lunch, a student making sure tuition is paid on time, shoppers paying instantly online, or an insurance company dispersing funds for a claim, our software helps make real-time payments a reality for consumers and businesses globally. Because customers are demanding real-time, and governments are mandating it. Thousands of banks, merchants, and billers rely on ACI to meet the evolving real-time payment needs of their customers, helping them pay with any device, through any channel, in any currency, anywhere in the world, with an experience that's fast, simple, and secure. ACI Worldwide, the leader in real-time payments.
In recent years, amazing customer experiences have become the new standard. It's what we all expect as consumers, to be understood and treated as individuals. But no matter how great these interactions become, there's always room to improve, to make them more consistent, more seamless, more personalized. For instance, when you deliver a great new marketing offer, it was likely built with different data, using different tools than other operations like risk management, financial crime protection, or even your supply chain. As a result, when customers move throughout the customer lifecycle, from one touch point to another, each interaction is not as valuable or even as enjoyable as it could be. This is a growing problem for companies in every industry, because personalization is king, and companies that offer disjointed experiences are quickly falling behind. That's why we built the FICO platform. It allows you to create amazing customer experiences with outsized business results. The FICO platform is a complete solution that enables you to easily connect your data while applying the latest AI, machine learning, and analytics to uncover insights which you can then put into action across your organization. In most companies, their IT structure looks like this, with each system built on its own island. With FICO, we bring your data, analytics, and application development together on an open, unified AI decisioning platform. This makes building new applications a breeze, because now you don't have to start from scratch. All you have to do is define the functionality you're looking for. And by empowering business stakeholders to collaborate with data scientists and application developers, you can work together to simulate, test, optimize, and deploy highly effective decision strategies. And you can do it fast. With the FICO platform, all your applications will operate from the same 360-degree view of the customer. So the important decision assets, like data characteristics and predictive models that are created by one department, will become available to the others, creating a centralized, responsibly governed system of action that creates better experiences for every one of your customers at scale. It's time to realize the power of a unified platform for digital decisioning. The FICO platform. Get started today.
Banks and credit unions have a problem. Their outdated technology can't keep up. Not with the engaging experiences of big tech and challenger banks, or the speed of new fintech services. And especially not with growing customer expectations. So financial institutions can either lose their customers to better digital players, or they can upgrade. And that's where we come in. The Backbase engagement banking platform is the evolution of the digital banking experience. With the power of one platform, you can start small, then grow big across all channels and business lines. You can increase conversions during onboarding and product applications, deepen customer loyalty and engagement, partner with the finest fintechs, and above all, improve life for customers and also employees. With turnkey apps plus accelerators to build your own, the platform can be tailored to the unique needs of any sized bank or credit union, like the hundreds around the world that we're powering today. This only scratches the surface of what Backbase can do for you. To learn more or speak to us, visit backbase.com.
Ones, zeros, An entire world made up of ones and zeros. A digital world, complicated and dangerous. Anywhere we find ourselves, anywhere we're heading, unlimited possibilities in the palm of our hand. One touch and we can pay everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Control our money and our accounts without having to go to the bank. Comfortably, 24 hours a day. We can finally work from anywhere, safely, easily, even from there, or from there. Nothing stands in our way. We can prove our identity 100% whenever necessary. The digital world is astonishing. We are here to fully exploit all of its benefits, Monet Plus, and applied cryptography. We change ones and zeros into unique services and zero risks. We are Monet Plus. For a quarter century, we have been helping people use their digital identity and their money comfortably and safely. Anywhere, anytime. Monet Plus. Digitally, anywhere.
It's a real-time world, in the workplace and in our personal lives. We expect speed and simplicity in everything we do. Payments are no exception. At ACI Worldwide, we're providing mission-critical, real-time payment software to corporations around the globe. Whether it's two friends splitting a bill over lunch, a student making sure tuition is paid on time, shoppers paying instantly online, or an insurance company dispersing funds for a claim, our software helps make real-time payments a reality for consumers and businesses globally. Because customers are demanding real time, and governments are mandating it. Thousands of banks, merchants, and billers rely on ACI to meet the evolving real-time payment needs of their customers, helping them pay with any device, through any channel, in any currency, anywhere in the world, with an experience that's fast, simple, and secure. ACI Worldwide, the leader in real-time payments.
recent years, amazing customer experiences have become the new standard. It's what we all expect as consumers, to be understood and treated as individuals. But no matter how great these interactions become, there's always room to improve, to make them more consistent, more seamless, more personalized. For instance, when you deliver a great new marketing offer, it was likely built with different data, using different tools than other operations like risk management, financial crime protection, or even your supply chain. As a result, when customers move throughout the customer lifecycle, from one touch point to another, each interaction is not as valuable or even as enjoyable as it could be. This is a growing problem for companies in every industry, because personalization is king, and companies that offer disjointed experiences are quickly falling behind. That's why we built the FICO platform. It allows you to create amazing customer experiences with outsized business results. The FICO platform is a complete solution that enables you to easily connect your data while applying the latest AI, machine learning, and analytics to uncover insights which you can then put into action across your organization. In most companies, their IT structure looks like this, with each system built on its own island. With FICO, we bring your data, analytics, and application development together on an open, unified AI decisioning platform. This makes building new applications a breeze, because now you don't have to start from scratch. All you have to do is define the functionality you're looking for. And by empowering business stakeholders to collaborate with data scientists and application developers, you can work together to simulate, test, optimize, and deploy highly effective decision strategies. And you can do it fast. With the FICO platform, all your applications will operate from the same 360-degree view of the customer. So the important decision assets, like data characteristics and predictive models that are created by one department, will become available to the others, creating a centralized, responsibly governed system of action that creates better experiences for every one of your customers at scale. It's time to realize the power of a unified platform for digital decisioning. The FICO platform. Get started today.
Banks and credit unions have a problem. Their outdated technology can't keep up. Not with the engaging experiences of big tech and challenger banks, or the speed of new fintech services. And especially not with growing customer expectations. So financial institutions can either lose their customers to better digital players, or they can upgrade. And that's where we come in. The Backbase Engagement Banking Platform is the evolution of the digital banking experience. With the power of one platform, you can start small, then grow big across all channels and business lines. You can increase conversions during onboarding and product applications, deepen customer loyalty and engagement, partner with the finest fintechs, and above all, improve life for customers and also employees. With turnkey apps plus accelerators to build your own, the platform can be tailored to the unique needs of any sized bank or credit union, like the hundreds around the world that we're powering today. This only scratches the surface of what Backbase can do for you. To learn more or speak to us, visit backbase.com.
Ones, zeros, An entire world made up of ones and zeros. A digital world, complicated and dangerous. Anywhere we find ourselves, anywhere we're heading, unlimited possibilities in the palm of our hand. One touch and we can pay everywhere. Absolutely everywhere. Control our money and our accounts without having to go to the bank. Comfortably, 24 hours a day. We can finally work from anywhere, safely, easily, even from there, or from there. Nothing stands in our way. We can prove our identity 100% whenever necessary. The digital world is astonishing. We are here to fully exploit all of its benefits, Monet Plus, and applied cryptography. We change ones and zeros into unique services and zero risks. We are Monet Plus. For a quarter century, we have been helping people use their digital identity and their money comfortably and safely. Anywhere, anytime. Monet Plus. Digitally, anywhere.
It's a real-time world, in the workplace and in our personal lives. We expect speed and simplicity in everything we do. Payments are no exception. At ACI Worldwide, we're providing mission-critical, real-time payment software to corporations around the globe. Whether it's two friends splitting a bill over lunch, a student making sure tuition is paid on time, shoppers paying instantly online, or an insurance company dispersing funds for a claim, our software helps make real-time payments a reality for consumers and businesses globally. Because customers are demanding real
Finally, some ladies here on the stage. So, according to gender equality and all these principles, I'm inviting Daniela Vukoslavovic, please, to share her presentation. Welcome.
Thank you again.
She is over 15 years. What you said to me, retail and risk mostly, yeah, and
a little bit of cards and payments. Thank you. Hello again to everyone from my side. My name is Daniela Vukoslavovic. I'm coming from Erste Bank Montenegro, and I will talk today, try to talk with you and to discuss a payment card and its future as a driving growth in changing environment. At the beginning, just to say that I was thinking actually what to mention about all these things that we heard today in half an hour and what discussion to open. And the beginning to say that I'm actually coming from sales, and I'm in sales for the last 20 years in the bank. And my objective today was actually, and my intention, to speak about payments ecosystem or payments industry from the side of consumer and from the side of their expectation, user experience, and something that the payment card industry should prove and manage in order to persist to be sustainable as it is currently in the European market. So the answer should be on the question how consumers move and manage their money, or can we design it today in payment cards industry? And just to say that we'll try to discuss, or I will try maybe to touch several crucial segments, B2C and B2B, of course, parallelly, and some questions and things on issuing as well, acquiring side. So generally, at first, some statistics, some numbers, why payments in Europe are so hot topic. We have a very different landscape currently in Europe concerning the payment habits and payment expectations, even in some markets which are geographically very close or next to each other. So we have 24 official languages and 50 countries and 25 currencies. And it's very complicated to say that one or just several payment solutions can complete the client's expectation in different countries and different markets. There is lots of numbers which will prove this, but for example, just one of them which appeared to me interesting, that, for example, last year total share of cash payments, cash and POS payments in Albania was almost 90%. In Germany, 63%, and just 15% in the UK. Going on with some payment statistics of European Central Bank concerning the card payments, total number of non-cash payments last year rose in Europe for 12.5%, in amount almost 19%, and card payments accounted for 49% of total number of non-cash payments. So cards are still, with all these things that we heard today, something which has a dominance or is dominant on the payment landscape currently as a payment method. Number of payment cards issued increased for almost 5%, but it's still less than 2 cards per euro area inhabitant. For example, in Canada, it's, for example, 3.8 cards per inhabitant. In United States, it's 3.2, I think. So concerning the penetration, it seems that there is still lots of things by the payment cards industry to be done in Europe. Before we go into details concerning the payment cards future, we must mention something that we already heard today lots of times, and it's concerned with open banking and open finance, which is clear to bank is not anymore a compliance issue. It's actually just a new business model. I wouldn't say it's any kind of big boom transformation. It's just something which is happening in each other industry, every other industry. It's going to happen in banking as well. And what is the game changer, or what was the game changer actually? I would say that sharing of data and the moment where banks maybe lost the custodians on data that we have is becoming a game changer. And some research actually showing the banks are very much aware or our CEOs are very much aware that it's just a new business model. And 64% of interviewed CEOs said that open banking will give a biggest impact on any technical development in banking industry. And 51% in Europe is already launching new products within open banking model. 16% is actually already losing some position concerning the competitors because they are not part of this story. And almost half already partner with fintechs. So we can say that we already learned something which is not actually was a recognizable model in traditional banking industry. And we know all that partnerships that we are now going to have with fintechs is not something that we actually were best in doing in previous period. Concerning the sizable growth opportunities in Europe, just a few figures more concerning the open banking. It's assumed that till 2026, 75% of Europe inhabitants will be on some kind a user of open banking payments. And size of embedded finance will reach 138 billions. 132 millions will be number of open banking users till 2024. And this slide is just speaking something about our, I wouldn't say competition, but maybe possible market for our partners. Third-party providers registration in Europe in the last little bit more than 2 years actually doubled. And then to go back to the topic, so in the terms of open banking and open financing, what we should do and what we can do to reinvent card payments environment to capitalize in banking as a service ecosystem. So I would say that maybe there are 3 main pillars. One of them is, of course, embedded finance journey, which must be part of any card scheme or card payment products. Digital enrollment and wallet embedded products with BNPL, of course. Instant payments and virtual cards, something that we already saw, but not without something which is personal finance management or advisory model for our clients or prosperity advice for our clients. I mean, there are different terms for this. Anything that we can help them to gain on their financial literacy. Of course, trust and data protection is the third pillar and something where shouldn't be any compromising between data protection and customer experience. It's often mentioned as something which is on the different sides. I wouldn't say that's on different sides. Concerning the key trends, which are actually transforming digital money transfer and of course, touching the future development of the payment card industry, concerning the international money transfer and domestic money transfer on both, let's say, client segments, B2B and B2C. As we already heard, today is definitely the rise of blockchain and stable coins, central bank digital currencies, and of course, mobile money and payments platforms. I would not go into details concerning blockchain technologies and central bank digital currencies, but there is definitely a huge potential there. Some central banks are already talking about this potential, and it probably is a matter of time when central banks will find a way somehow to standardize market concerning the digital currencies, and where it will be like a parallel world, of course, for payments. And then we can go back to some details concerning the payment card market. Of course, e-commerce and size of this kind of market is inevitable part of the story. In 11 out of 18 countries in Europe, cards are #1 payment method. We already saw that figures. For example, in Denmark, it's percentage the highest, above 63%, followed by Ireland and UK. And concerning the e-commerce growth in Europe, it's from 7 to 16%, and it's really growing very fast. And what is interesting, and of course not any kind of surprise, more than a half of total e-commerce, for example, in Czech Republic, is already done on mobile devices. So business to business dominated this market, with more than half payments made in this area. Additionally, what banks should have in mind, and payment card brands as well, is that B2B market segmentation is becoming more and more complex, and that now they expect to see something more than just payment card in things that you offer. So in domestic and cross-border payments, apart from the channel, they expect to see something of value-added services or value-added technologies. So MasterCard and Visa are actually doing already in some of their products offered these things and offering some added value services parallelly with solutions that they are actually offering to B2B segment, especially concerning the blockchain technology in supply chain control, or maybe some robotic process automation. Concerning payments as a platforms, which should be all-inclusive, let's say, and provide different payment methods in order to be acceptable for different clients, for different markets and different client segments. Apart from bank and credit cards and integrated wallets, they must provide intuitive management tools and speed to market. They should be multi-currency available to clients, especially in European market. And they must provide different technical assumptions like payment link or hosted checkout or e-commerce plugins already acceptable for clients. If we go more into details, we'll try to summarize somehow something which will maybe tackle most the payment card industry. It's definitely accelerating of instant payments. We already heard some examples from the market around us, or P2P payments. Then digital identity through wallet-based solution. Open banking and open finance as something, as I said, which is a new business model, definitely. And merging of digital wallets and BNPL. When I was preparing this presentation, at a certain point I realized that maybe it should be mentioned something which is still very vivid and live and is concerned with brick and mortar banking and expectation of the clients. And brick and mortar banks and brick and mortar business model is still making lots of money. And clients still expect to open the accounts within the branches. More than 80% of them would like to open the account branch. And the matter of fact is actually that banks should take care how much it costs them to attract new clients. So for example, in Europe, approximately it's around $280 to onboard a new client. And it's more than 10 times cheaper if you do it through digital platforms. So let's find a way to educate, especially on some market, our clients. In embedding finance and payment cards, which is actually something where the payment cards are most present, all four pillars of this process should find their customer value propositions. So seller, buyer, banks, and of course, non-financial brands or fintechs, where the embedding finance will be a generator of a new technology supplied. Ecosystem of checking account and debit card experience from the issuing side is something actually which will provide for the payment cards industry to continue to make a growth and progress. So online opening of checking account with virtual debit card is something which should be like one customer journey. Of course, after that, 24/7 payment transfers and real-time settlements. Just to mention, BNPL and credit card limit approval I've just put here one use case which was recently presented in one MasterCard conference where Brex, actually using alternative data for credit card lending decisions, succeeded. Brex is not a bank. They're not a bank. They're just like a consulting financial fintech house. They succeeded to make credit limits 10 to 20 times bigger than their competing banks. So if you're analyzing data and knowing what to see there, we can reach better decisions, of course, balanced with credit risk appetite that we have. Instant credit decisions must be balanced with something that I already mentioned. It's concerned with personal finance management, financial literacy, and financial health of our client. And cards must be, or banks who are issuing credit cards and BNPL options or any kind of installment cards, which are very popular in some markets, should take care about what message they're actually sending to clients with their credit decisions. Just to mention quickly, because we are running out of time, putting a strategic focus on merchant support in acquiring is the other side of this story. So there will not be card business, if, especially banks. In some markets I saw that in some banks as well. If they are just concentrated on one part of the story, if they are concentrated that just on issuing, they have their clients, legal entities, especially small and medium-sized businesses, which are doing a great job and need support from banks to do acquiring and to actually make growth based on e-commerce. So acquiring business model issues, we all more or less know what should be there. So boosting conversion, increase international business, especially in some areas, customer loyalty, streamline of cash, and just to try to make the clearance as fast as possible. And at the end, the matter of security, which is always must be mentioned when we are talking about any kind of payments, of course, with payment cards as well. Know your client and know your business should be centralized as a function. Fraud management and detecting suspicious activities, especially in card not present transaction and e-commerce, is maybe something where payment card industry should focus and put as much effort as ever to cut it and to control it. And at the end, to finish with the strategy, with story about blue ocean strategy for cards, which I like very much actually. So banks are regularly frightened that something will happen with the Z generation and the Z generation and millennials, because they already said that 90% of them would actually consider having a banking account with a non-bank. I really believe it will not be, and it will not happen, and bank will preserve their position. And concerning the card products, adopting a healthy financial identity is something which should be like a clear strategic focus or client value proposition that cards will offer. Transparency of costs and simplicity of usage. Increase the speed of payments with no compromise on security, of course. So that will be the maybe final message from my side, and I'm now open for questions.
Thank you. Just to see, are there any questions? Do we have any question on Slido or live? Maybe it's better live. No questions? You will get the cake who asked the question.
Okay.
Yeah, Thomas.
Thank you, but keep the cake for yourself. I don't eat sweet. Anyway, those alternative non-banks that you were actually showing the examples, they are all US-based. Would you have any examples of some for Europe?
For neobanks or for someone?
Yes,
well,
Amazon, PayPal, and
yes,
Walmart.
you have lots of them providing services. For example, on, I don't know, of Revolut or someone similar to that, to them, Amazon, But I really believe that payment card industry in Europe, as we saw the figures, are something which has still a clear future. If we see that almost half of all the non-cash payments is made with cards, and I think that card brands as MasterCard and Visa are actually very much aware of what's going on, and that they are having the correct space with the new technologies in terms of blockchain, of course, and some other technologies that together with the banks they will preserve to keep loyalty toward card brands that already is present on the market. So we just need to be clever enough to keep it.
Please.
Thank you. I have one small question. Up to now, the payment credentials were owned by the bank or on behalf by the processor, the issuing processor of the bank. 95% of the payment was done at point of sale with a card. Now we are shifting to a situation where the token are not the data owned by the bank anymore, but by the schemes. That the payment at point of sale is decreasing comparing to the global volumes, and that on top of that, the card tokenization at the merchant is going to force the transaction not only at point of sale with Apple Pay, but also on online, to go through the network Visa and MasterCard while they were domestically processed before. Do you see that as a threat, as a change, as a lack of independence of the issuer, knowing that at the end the payment, the number which is paying is not your card, but a number which is checked and issued by somebody else?
Well, it definitely can be a threat, but the whole presentation was not just from the purpose of the banks just issued cards. It was generally about cards.
I agree, yeah.
If we are talking about bank's position in the issue of cards, that's a little bit different, maybe, story. What proved on the markets, on our markets or markets similar to Montenegro, is that actually some local payment methods where you can, on some way, escape these clearing schemes, sometimes are more profitable and more acceptable than maybe MasterCard or Visa and processor. But it's not for every industry and it's not for every seller. So somehow it seems that really you must put a choice, and it depends somehow on seller whether he will go international, what is his target group of clients, do you have a peaks on, for example, during the tourist season when you have different customers on your market, and you must provide some local payment solution where you can choose among these alternatives that you mentioned, and some other ones.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Daniela. And now I would like to announce and call Michal Prajny. Is this correct pronunciation?
Yes, more or less.
Sorry. So Michal is working for Global Payments Europe. So I would say old wolf. It says more than 20 years of different experience. Very interesting. Card issuing, merchants acquiring, processing solutions for banking and retail. So super nice topic and area. Welcome. And you will be host for the next panel. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for the introduction. It was comprehensive. Mm-hmm. So now I would like to invite our panelists. So the first, Matt Tilk from MOL Group. Matt is a digital enterprise architect and payment manager in MOL Group. And he is responsible for the digital architecture and payment. Then I would like to invite Davor Gasparac, Senior Program Manager, Corporates and Markets at RS Digital. Davor has more than 30 years experiences in the delivering on complex projects and solutions from different industries and different markets. And then Vladimir Dashev, from head of risk management at Halbank Skopje, and Vladimir is head of risk management and Halbank Skopje. Is the 20 years experience in the credit risk and also member of the risk commission and the Macedonian Banking Association. So, welcome here. Thank you. So I'm really happy that I can be part of this panel because definitely the real-time payments are interesting, very interesting topic, and in the area where we are active, it's quite hot topic. However, there is still some way to go, and there is, let's say, still some let's say, ways to explore and how to boost it. So the first question is, if we consider the actual status of the real-time payment infrastructure, what is available, where do you see the biggest potential? What are the, let's say, most promising segments of the customer or businesses which can now, let's say, leverage from the real-time payment infrastructure? Mate, if I can ask you.
Okay. Well, first of all, we'll put you in context and to understand where I'm coming from, to better understand my answer. We are in an era that we are selling fuel. It's most probably, this won't be a really good business in the next upcoming 10, 20 years, because we are moving in a different direction, that we want to have different energy providers for our mobility. So we have defined a 2030 strategy, and within that we defined that we want to step into new businesses, new capability building. And within that, we also defined that we want to provide convenient payment capabilities to our customers. This is part of the consumer services business strategy on group level, and from that we defined a payment strategy for MOL Group, a merchant payment strategy. What we want to do, how we want to do, what type of payment instruments, what type of payment modes, what type of payment services we want to provide to our customers, which is fully connected to the whole customer journey, what we want to achieve. And within that payment strategy, we analyze certain payment methods, certain instruments, how to do, what to introduce, because we don't want to be driven by the service providers. We want to know what's the best, what's the most cost-efficient way to do payments. And within that, we evaluated real-time payments, instant credit a bit, and what we have found is that so far, and we are very much coming from the customer point of view, the customer experience, that how to, because for a merchant it is really promising that there can be a business case, of course, instead of card payments, because the scheme fees are a bit higher than this type of transaction. And what we have found is that as of today, it's a very big disclaimer. As of today, where we are operating in those countries, it's not that important to deal with on a scale what we are doing, because we have not seen a solution or solution provider who would do it in a way that we can make our customers to use it instead of card payment. It's like, as I think, I don't know who was today, it was already mentioned that it's much easier, probably it was Philip, that it's much easier that you just go there, tap, pay, and go. This is the same experience I want to see in real-time payments. This is the break even, then we will, as a large-scale merchant, will most probably move in because we see the potential. But I don't see the use case in fuel retailing. Probably there are others. We already started to evaluate certain possibilities to somehow combine, we have a closed loop card, fuel cards, we have loyalty, combine these with the account-to-account payment, create one digital payment account for a mall user, and then you just tap and go. That we are evaluating it, we are searching for providers, solutions, but it's, for me, for us, it's not there. It's not there yet.
So thank you very much for the view from the merchant, and the business case for you probably, as you said, is the cost efficiency, and maybe it was even the reason why the instant payments or open banking PSD2 started in Europe. But you are right, and we will touch it in the further question. Maybe Davor, can I ask you from the bank point of view how you see it?
Well, I can give you from bank point of view. On the other hand, I'm in IT business about 30 years, and only last 10, a little bit more, I'm in banking. Otherwise, I was in software industry and so on. And I have to say, although I'm working in a bank, I'm still surprised with, you know, quite a huge variety of payment combinations and products and so on, because at the end of the day, if we look at very basics, maybe oversimplified, what is the payment? It's debiting one account and crediting the other account, right? I mean, yes, there is some ALM in the meantime, security and all the other stuff which has to pass there. But at the end of the day, it's transfer of the funds from one account to the another, which should be rather easy, actually, but it seems it is not for a variety of reasons. And I do believe that we are, especially banks, overcomplicating stuff. There is quite a lot of sentiment in variety of banks I was talking to, and especially within our organization. Everybody is trying to make, you know, the payment product, the payment service, the payment infrastructure, something spectacularly new and whatsoever. But on the other hand, you know, payments, especially if you are looking at a global level, it's a commodity at the end, and it's something that has to work on the common infrastructure. And I'm seeing not enough understanding and actually push between the banks to agree among themselves. Something like internet was built on TCP/IP protocol, some standards and the way how to handle payments generally, globally, in the cost-efficient way. From bank perspective, banks are still looking at payments as one of their major income drivers. And this is probably one of the biggest reasons why banks are quite reluctant actually to talk to each other and make everybody's life simple. They will lose quite a lot of revenues in that sense, that's for sure. But on the other hand, I do believe on the long run, those revenues are not defendable at all. Companies like Visa, MasterCard, they are owning practically almost 90% of the global cards market. They have the global infrastructure which is enabling actually the payments quite efficiently all over the globe. And I do believe that if banks do not realize that, well, they are practically an obstacle in this business from the customer perspective, I do believe that companies which do have already built the global infrastructure, which actually, ironically, with PSD2, there was intention actually to decrease that monopoly, but it only helped them to build a monopoly further on. Those card providers will probably take over the entire payment industry completely. I mean, they are already well positioned to do that, and from cost perspective, they are in the best position actually to do it very efficiently and cost efficiently.
Okay, thank you. And Vladimir, what is your view? I think when we let's say discussed before this panel, you said that you don't have the real-time payments currently, so you are on the green field. So what would be your, let's say, view on it? How to make it workable?
With all of you, that sometimes we are inventing the wheel once again, and in respect to our Western Balkan markets, we are still at the beginning for certain services in that respect to real-time payments. We saw again about the Serbia. It's by myself. It's something that is forced by the regulator to implement it. So it's another maybe by myself not giving the market to develop itself, and it's forcing something to do. But also I want to address that the banks can surely go into horizontal and to use the infrastructure they already have to be able to expand the services and maybe to see how can attach certain services upon real-time payments and further on. And I mentioned it in the first session that I want some discussion upon it, whether that will at certain point payments be obsolete from the banking business at all. So we will certainly have to face a Web3 revolution, and it will come. That will put banks in the position that totally will not own anything, even the data. And I think that we are at the point of time as a banks to use the information from the data perspective and from the real-time transactions or whatsoever to be able to build the relationship with our clients on the long run. Because otherwise, we already spoke with Christian, for example, this kind of investments that we are doing in real-time payments or in card businesses, whatsoever, I don't think that we calculate how much years we'll need to pay off as a banks. And sometimes it's wise to see whether this service is good for us or it's just making a liability and it's a reputation for us that we have certain services implemented within the banks. But one way to go forward is to be able to try to see horizontally how we can use this technology to be able not just to see a payment as a payment, A to B, but as Davor mentioned, try to see multilaterally how we can structure the ecosystem inside the payment transaction. Not a single point of time like a supply and demand or point A to point B, but what we can do for using the network of payment systems in real-time payments to have a many-to-many approach, if you understand me, in respect to the services we provide and what are embedded information beside the transaction itself.
Okay, thank you very much. Honestly, I feel at the beginning was a little bit pessimistic regarding to the real-time payments usability because of various reasons. So the next question would be, do you see any like maybe quick wins? It's too quick, but something what we can do with the current, let's say, solution, what is currently available to increase the adoption of the real-time payments and to maybe make it more usable in the retail or in the person-to-person. For example, there are some fintech conferences where the Czech National Bank participates, and when the fintech asks the National Bank representative why then they do not, let's say, create a new payment method, the National Bank says, but we already did it. We mandated instant payments, and now it's up to you to use it and to implement it in the best way. So it seems that there is a kind of white space when nobody would like to take the responsibility. So do you see any, who can take the lead? It should be the fintechs or merchant or the bank or the authorities. What is your opinion on it?
By myself, I think that we start cooperating on both sides. To be able, I had been on one session regarding Western Balkan development strategies for fintechs, and by my opinion, I think that the banks that I'm surrounding, they are a little bit not trust. They don't see trust in cooperation. I think that if there is a partnership, one of the, I think that the speakers said in their presentation that we can strongly move into the partnership perspective with fintechs and try to invent together to near up the gap, because I think that even there is a, maybe even in the generation gap, to be able to expand our and redevelop our services. Not to invent the wheel again, but redevelop what we have at this point of time.
I would agree with your first sentence with the previous question that we are inventing a wheel. I mean, if we stick to the idea that payment actually is, in definition, transfer of funds from point A to point B, then the entire payment infrastructure is actually infrastructure, like transport infrastructure, right? Like railway system, like, I don't know, highway system, like anything like that, right? And first thing in that, you need certain standards, and I do believe that we have more than enough standards. So I don't think that we need to invent something new. Probably only agree, okay, which one we are going to use and how it is going to be used. With the invention of Internet, World Wide Web, you do have the physical infrastructure actually to perform a real-time anything globally, right? Which means real-time payment, technically speaking, it's practically given with the invention of the Internet, TCP/IP protocols and so on. Question is only, why are we not using it? I mean, take one simple example. A few days ago, I was transferring money to a friend of mine. It was Friday evening. He's having the account in the same bank as I'm doing. I didn't click on this SEPA instant transfer whatsoever in the net bank application. He got money on Monday. Think about that. I mean, we are using computers. Computers are connected to the internet. Computers are working 24/7. And yet, on those same computers, I mean, I understand that we people are having public holidays and weekends and so on, but computers don't. Why are computers not working over the weekend? Can anybody explain that? Can anybody explain why the payment cannot happen on Sunday? If we are using computers as they are designed to do, if you are using internet as it is designed to do, because our ledgers, actually our account is not some book in the drawer of a branch like 100 years ago. Our account is the record in the database and everything is connected. So why cannot transfer of the fund work already now instantly? And the reason is only, well, we are complicating it simply. We are adding some pieces of work, or depending on some manual, obviously there is some manual work, otherwise there is no rational explanation why payment cannot happen over the weekend, right? So quite a lot is added to very simple transaction, and I do believe that we don't need to invent anything new in addition, but we have to, go back and say, okay, technologically speaking, how things are supposed to work, and let's simply do it. Who should take the initiative there? That's more, I would say, interesting and maybe more complex question. And question would be, who would have the interest in that? And I would say neither banks or fintechs, as they are now, probably do not have the interest, because technically speaking, I mean, you cannot earn a lot of money on that if you do it right. Let's be very simple with that. So if everything works fine, you cannot charge, a few cents or even few euros sometimes to do the simple transaction, because it's a sending of several messages. Over the internet these days, I mean, this costs almost nothing. Which means question is, who has the interest to actually cut the profits out of it and actually do the things right? And I really don't have the answer on that. I mean, obviously, banks and fintechs will probably not agree to do that, because then banks are definitely losing their funds, their profits, and fintechs are not earning their profits because they are stepping in. Why? Not because they are, nice people who want to, bring something good to the mankind. Maybe some of them are, but they want a piece of cake, right? Fintechs are entering the banking business because they want a piece of cake. They want to earn money as well, which means both banks and fintechs, in my humble opinion, are interested to make things complex and make things, not right in order to earn money. So I would guess that some third party, not third-party provider, but somebody who is not fintech or bank, who is not interested in the earning money but making things right, should take the lead. But honestly, I don't know who that might be. Somebody who has a lot of money, obviously, not better things to do in life, and is eager actually to spend that money for other people good. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's good. There are some examples. For example, in Switzerland, yeah, there is the Swish which is using the money transfer. This was in fact to replace cash, or in India they wanted to implement very cheap transaction or payment for the people. So I think mostly it's government or the consortium of the bank which are, as you said, are willing to do it not because of money but because of something is missing. Yeah? And so as I mentioned, there are some examples where the real-time payments are working. One of the, I would say, good examples also online, because it is in online where there is no so big push for the time and so on. There is already some 15% in some countries account-to-account payment, in some countries even more. So I think it's there are some examples when maybe the business case was found or the customer experience. But we are very much in the, as you mentioned, very specific business, but especially in-store business. So maybe can you name some few topics or few issues which really block you to use it? Because you have the business case behind it.
Yeah, I would start with an example that 1 or 2 years ago, the Hungarian National Bank, some work stream project reached us that, okay, they are preparing the final, or just not the final, but a proposition on how to implement this in Hungary, the official merchant service and the customer service. And the first idea was that they would come with a solution that the customer has a barcode, the merchant should scan it with another mobile application, and then the payment can be done. And we said that, okay, do you understand that on the level of business where we are, that we have integrated systems, integrated point of sale, cash register, integrated back office systems, integrated and fully automated reconciliation processes. Having an extra mobile application with the cashier is not an option. So that's one part that it's a blocking, that what we are searching for is an automated and fully integrated solution into the merchant systems. That's one part, and the other part is that the in short, the marketing of this is still not good, I would say, because as a everyday card user, the belief is that each and every card transaction is for free. Which is actually not, but they don't know, or they are not aware. And for a bank account-to-account transfer, they are aware that there is a certain cost. So why would they choose another payment method which is actually, in their belief, is costing more for them, but it is only good for the merchant? So there should be a kind of better marketing and sales promotion around that. Probably that should come from the regulator, for the national banks, and then a very tightly integrated solution for the large merchants. Of course, the smaller businesses are not requiring it because they can have an application with an extra mobile phone, but with 2,200 stores, it's unmanageable.
Okay, so it's really about if it should be demanded by customer, it's about the customer experience and some benefits for the client, definitely. For my experiences, let's say the motivation to use it, some benefits, it should come from the merchant, because in fact the merchant has a let's say like possibilities, I mean commercial possibilities to give some discount and so on. However, the security part, which is the second, I would say, annoying point it's on the bank and the regulators. I mean the SCA, then you need to always do the verification in the email. Vladimir, what do you think about it? It's like who can change this, do it more customer friendly? Because in the car industry there are some exceptions when the merchant can take the risk and so on. So do you think that the same can happen in the real-time payment?
Payment itself, I think that it's pretty much covered with the security aspects that it's going on, and what it's the main area by my even though that currently, especially in the COVID crisis, if you I think that in very large extent, cyber risk is the number one that is concerned about within the banks. But from perspective of real-time payments, I think that onboarding part, which is not the real-time payments, but it's stick to the whole process. In and out could be certain points that still has to be straightened up, and especially with regarding to AML directives and so on, and putting up in circles. We saw Sebastian mention that they will invent a new updates on the regulatives. So from the perspective of what the blockchain technologies are giving now, if the banks are pursuing that kind of path, in the payment part, I don't see significant cyber risk that can occur. But on the point of onboarding and extracting and putting a data into the legacy systems or any other third-party aspects, we should be careful in that respect to be able to analyze them and send. I want to add also, from the regulatory perspective, I'm seeing and continuing over the years a trend, not just in this field, but we are not seeing that the business is left to analyze the level of risk they are taking, and upon that, to persuade the central banks or supervisory authorities to foster some regulative or not. Otherwise, we are pushed to be able to regulate something that is predicted to be going wrong. I'm just saying that materiality perspective of risk we are taking, sometimes we are not taking from the business. We face them and we record them, and now we measure them how material they are, and then we will push some regulatives upon them. But otherwise, we predict that something will happen, and we foster very, very toughly to be able to implement certain regulative for type of societies or economies that are not quite well. For example, we still live in the ages with our ethics laws. Some of the real-time payments are not possible to address, and if you want to implement some real-time payment, cross-border, for example, it's totally impossible with the current ethics regime. But also, for example, we implemented the directives for AML in the country that it's not cashless society. It's a certain point, like in Sweden, like 98%, and they are putting the below shelves like 500 euros. You have to have AML reporting to everyone. So sometimes you cannot. There is no one-size box for everyone. So we need to accommodate and try to see what the current market it's about, and to see what can be implemented under the current circumstances, and maybe have a quantum leaps in certain areas, but not necessarily to be engaged through the regulation implementation with a certain economy.
And now maybe the last topic, last question at the end. So even everything what has been said during the discussion and all the troubles, can you just share what is your idea, in which area the real-time segment can grow in next years, whatever it is, it's P2P or B2B or B2C, let's say the guy knowing the actual status and the speed how the things can evolve. So is there any real potential of this method of payment to grow?
I do believe it has, but I would still refer back to one of my earlier statements. I do believe that we have too many payment methods overall, and now trying to find, the holy grail, which one would be the best and how to work. I do believe that we are simply complicating stuff. The amount of payments to grow, it's depending on the amount of, traffic or an amount of transactions that are being held, and payments are only enabling those, nothing more than that. So I do believe that everybody, both merchants and buyers, in any way have the interest to have payments done as soon as possible, as quickly as possible, in real time. Whichever way it works. Currently with the credit card, it works pretty fine, I would say. The moment when you pay something, well, you have the information that it's paid, your account will be debited maybe once a month, but a merchant immediately gets the funds. So the merchant can immediately do something with that and utilize it and so on. Currently with other types of the payments, this is not the case. As I said, it can happen several days until merchant gets my money, and this money is already deducted from my account. So I'm debited immediately, but you are not credited immediately. So money is somewhere, sometimes days in between, and none of us can use it. None of us can use those funds for whatever we need. So in that sense, whichever method is found to enable real-time transfer of funds, let's call it that way, transfer of funds. Is it payment? Is it card? Doesn't matter. This is the one which will get attraction, of course, assuming that it's safe, secure, and also that the fees are not some astronomical, because as mentioned, and you also mentioned, the merchants are the ones who are the mostly driving it, and if they are having the high fees, they will never accept it. It's simple as that, and then it's that.
Agree.
I agree also.
So we finish in the agreement, common agreement, because I agree as well. Maybe just to add that the price is definitely driver of it. However, the user experience is user experience as well. And when we came to the decision that the major driver is the merchants, of course the competition is quite strong, which are the cards. However, just to end up, so there are some examples where it already works. So probably we are going there, but it will not be as fast as probably expected. So thank you. I think this is end of this discussion. So are there any questions?
Just before the questions, I would ask anyone who would have any kind of solution or, or provider, you are a provider that I'm looking for, that because we believe there can be some money, then please contact me. Thank you.
I think by chance the company who maybe have solution for you is not here, but it's around. So, but you know them. You know them.
Maybe they are online.
Vladimir, you mentioned that Web3 is here and to stay. This term was invented something like 2014, and it was said that till 2020 will be the new standards, the new norm. We are in 2022 and it's not foreseen there. In your opinion, or all of your opinion, what is hindering, what are the drawbacks hindering the, let's say, the market, the adoption of the Web3, and of course in this way regarding also the real-time payments? Because Davor, you also mentioned that there are private companies which are entering the market. Who stopped them to move?
For example, last year we first have the regulation for crypto assets, for example. And I think that way, and the central bank are regulating some of the things that can be, some of the services try to embed new technologies further on. But in the world, for sure, as you mentioned, nobody's stopping it. I think that this interconnection between the already legacy systems that institutions has to cope with and to adopt certain technologies that can be used in that area, not to avoid them. Because otherwise, the Web3 could threaten the banks at the end. But as Davor mentioned, the routing protocols of internet, that were invented 20 years ago. Now with Web3, just imagine if we cover the routing protocols and we make the transaction or the value transfer between individuals, peoples, whatsoever. I don't think that at the end the banks will have the business in that respect. And I will get back to the financial intermediary concept, why the banks were invented. So the payments were at the beginning not part of the banking business. So for sure, I don't want to go in that direction, but I think that currently there is a very big gap from the technology perspective not entering into the banking sector. And if we open up and try to cooperate with certain fintechs on the matter of how to accommodate, not to be strict and robust system, at least for a testing on a testing ground, and make these innovations put in our banks, I think that we can move forward very easily because the technology is here. I don't have a clear answer why we don't use it.
I would maybe add just one thing, and this is, as Vladimir said, technology is here, it's enabled. The thing is, and I would here dare to say, although I'm coming from a bank, that banks are actually the biggest obstacle actually in that, because they are still protecting their position and they are still protecting and trying to protect the revenues. Your question was also related, you know, who is stopping actually. I mean, it's not matter of stopping, it's also matter of the acceptance, meaning if you want, at the end, if we are going back to the basics, what is the payment? Transfer of the funds from account to the account. Who is holding accounts? Banks, right? So banks are practically keeping the gateway where they could enable or disable or make it slower or, you know, increase the fees and so on. So it is the banks who are practically, in my opinion, blocking that for an obvious reason, protecting their investments. If you're looking then the position of the neobanks, I mean, they are coming with the, you know, clean sheet of paper with the new non-legacy infrastructure and so on. And if you're looking how the payments works between the banks like Revolut, N26 and you name it, all the others, it works rather smooth because practically, again, here you have the transactions between those institutions who are obviously more focused on doing things right and, you know, doing it smoothly and so on. So it can be done. It's obviously somebody in those institutions, which means if you want to transfer the funds from Revolut to brick and mortar banks or back and forth, then it doesn't work that well, right? So this is additional argument that, well, banks are those who are for having the interest to have it complicated and slow. We are coming from the same bank, but yeah, I'm still having my opinion.
More
yeah.
diplomatic.
Yeah.
And you know that I'm responsible for payments, so.
Let's give a round of applause for our panelists. Thank you. And just maybe one last thing from us, the organizers. Some people are asking me what to do in Prague, basically in the evening. I need to remind you that we have a gala dinner at 6 o'clock in the Zoom restaurant, so please don't go anywhere. 6 o'clock, we have some nice food, drinks, and entertainment program, okay? So at 6 o'clock in the Zoom restaurant. Thank you. It's where the lunch break was, yeah. Thank you.
In recent years, amazing customer experiences have become the new standard. It's what we all expect as consumers, to be understood and treated as individuals. But no matter how great these interactions become, there's always room to improve, to make them more consistent, more seamless, more personalized. For instance, when you deliver a great new marketing offer, it was likely built with different data, using different tools than other operations like risk management, financial crime protection, or even your supply chain. As a result, when customers move throughout the customer lifecycle from one touch point to another, each interaction is not as valuable or even as enjoyable as it could be. This is a growing problem for companies in every industry because personalization is king, and companies that offer disjointed experiences are quickly falling behind. That's why we built the FICO platform. It allows you to create amazing customer experiences with outsized business results. The FICO platform is a complete solution that enables you to easily connect your data while applying the latest AI, machine learning, and analytics to uncover insights which you can then put into action across your organization. In most companies, their IT structure looks like this, with each system built on its own island. With FICO, we bring your data, analytics, and application development together on an open, unified AI decisioning platform. This makes building new applications a breeze, because now you don't have to start from scratch. All you have to do is define the functionality you're looking for. And by empowering business stakeholders to collaborate with data scientists and application developers, you can work together to simulate, test, optimize, and deploy highly effective decision strategies. And you can do it fast. With the FICO platform, all your applications will operate from the same 360-degree view of the customer. So the important decision assets, like data characteristics and predictive models that are created by one department, will become available to the others, creating a centralized, responsibly governed system of action that creates better experiences for every one of your customers at scale. It's time to realize the power of a unified platform for digital decisioning. The FICO platform. Get started today.
Banks and credit unions have a problem. Their outdated technology can't keep up. Not with the engaging experiences of big tech and challenger banks, or the speed of new fintech services. And especially not with growing customer expectations. So financial institutions can either lose their customers to better digital players, or they can upgrade. And that's where we come in. The Backbase Engagement Banking Platform is the evolution of the digital banking experience. With the power of one platform, you can start small, then grow big across all channels and business lines. You can increase conversions during onboarding and product applications, deepen customer loyalty and engagement, partner with the finest fintechs, and above all, improve life for customers and also employees. With turnkey apps plus accelerators to build your own, the platform can be tailored to the unique needs of any sized bank or credit union, like the hundreds around the world that we're powering today. This only scratches the surface of what Backbase can do for you. To learn more or speak to us, visit backbase.com.
Ones, zeros. An entire world made up of ones and zeros. A digital world, complicated and dangerous. Anywhere we find ourselves, anywhere we're heading, unlimited possibilities in the palm of our hand. One touch and we can pay everywhere. absolutely everywhere. Control our money and our accounts without having to go to the bank. Comfortably, 24 hours a day. We can finally work from anywhere, safely, easily, even from there. Or from there. Nothing stands in our way. We can prove our identity 100% whenever necessary. The digital world is astonishing. We are here to fully exploit all of its benefits, Monet Plus, and applied cryptography. We change ones and zeros into unique services and zero risks. We are Monet Plus. For a quarter century, we have been helping people use their digital identity and their money comfortably and safely. Anywhere, anytime. Monet Plus. Digitally, anywhere.
It's a real-time world, in the workplace and in our personal lives. We expect speed and simplicity in everything we do. Payments are no exception. At ACI Worldwide, we're providing mission-critical, real-time payment software to corporations around the globe. Whether it's two friends splitting a bill over lunch, a student making sure tuition is paid on time, shoppers paying instantly online, or an insurance company dispersing funds for a claim, our software helps make real-time payments a reality for consumers and businesses globally. Because customers are demanding real-time, and governments are mandating it. Thousands of banks, merchants, and billers rely on ACI to meet the evolving real-time payment needs of their customers, helping them pay with any device, through any channel, in any currency, anywhere in the world, with an experience that's fast, simple, and secure. ACI Worldwide, the leader in real-time payments.